So, Mr. Delancey, could you explain to me why did Chalk Sound get its name?
Okay, Chalk Sound get its name. Actually, that's a lake down there also too, which has over 200 little keys. I was told that in that little area we had something like 365 keys down there. Now Chalk Sound get its name because of the bonefish, which are usually housed down there. If you are flying overhead in an airplane any day, you will see the water's clear, but you'll see spots of white water, muddy water, and that's where the bonefish is feeding. And that's why, and then because of being white, it looks like chalk, so they call it chalk.
Chalk Sound.
Chalk Sound.
Okay, so what about Silly Creek?
Silly Creek and Chalk Sound is connected together, but there's an entrance where the water comes in Chalk Sound. Now you'll notice if you go all the way down to Chalk Sound, where they have this bridge. That bridge, that entrance there. That's an artificial entrance, because they dug that in there to make that little key called Diamond Key. Now on the western side of Diamond Key, that was where the water enter in there. Now, just on the western side of that little opening that brings the water to Chalk Sound, there's old ruin on that hill. It was a fish factory, and this guy name was Silly, Mr. Silly, and he started this fish factory, factory, taking lobster over the years, which was the first fish factory in Turks and Caicos Islands, and they named that after him, Silly Key.
Okay, thank you. So just want to talk about a few more areas on the islands and their names, just to get some clarification as to why they were named what their name is today. Are you familiar with Flamingo Lake?
Yes, well, because Flamingo used to always feed there. You know, that lake, that was also like a little lake state of water too. And like most of the time, if we have a spring tide or heavy rain, which connect that lake into Sarah Lake, because when the tides spring high, on a certain time there, the water will overflow from Sarah Lake and then it runs down. And then it goes down that little lake we call the Flamingo Lake, and of course the flamingos would be in there feeding. That's why that's called a Flamingo Lake. But then after that water between the Flamingo Lake and Sarah Lake dries up, then that water stay down the Flamingo Lake. And also between Flamingo Lake and Sarah Lake, there was another little area in there what used to hold water, what we used to call the fish pond. When the fishes come down from Sarah Lake, come down in there, and when the water dries up, the water gets too hot. Of course, it used to mostly happen in the summer. The water dries up, then the heat and the salt will stun the fish, and we used to go down there and catch fish. You know, we'd meet the fish dead. Some of them just fluttering for life, and they were used to catch. And even though they was dead, they were still good, because the salt would kill them. And in that area, we had an area we called the salt pond. Well, matter of fact, part of the fish pond was the salt pond, because when the water dries down, then we finally got salt in there. So we had like Sarah Lake, we had the Flamingo Lake, and we had the fish pond, we had the salt pond. And then in the back of all this, where all this reaction comes from Sarah Lake down to Flamingo, this big spread of salina out there was dry, and we used to call it Southside Salina. But now today, it stays the water because of the opening up of the shipyard. The water stays coming, it just stay on the Salino. And that's how come we don't have the fish pond anymore, and we don't have the salt pond anymore because they stay in water.
Okay. And because you're on that side of the island and you're speaking about Flamingo Lake, of course that's all in the Turtle Tail area.
Yes.
So can you explain to me about Turtle Tail, how it got its name, and also there are some areas in Turtle Tail, for example, Jim Hill. I'm curious to know why the name Jim Hill.
All right, well, Jim Hill. We have Jim Hill and we have Couple Jack Hill. People used to work farm over there over the years. And this guy by the name of Jim, years ago, he used to work farm on this place called Jim Hill. That's right in front of the south side, right in front of the 5 Keys. And he used to live in that area. And that's how come that area called Jim Hill. The same with Couple Jack. This guy, the name Couple Jack, which is further down from Jim Hill. And to give you an idea of where Couple Jack is, if you take the highway, you take the road that comes from the back of the glass shack and go south, go out to the little southern marina, the hills on the right hand side of the marina there, that's Couple Jack. And this guy used to farm out there, and he had a little camp out there where he used to camp out, and that's why they call that hill Couple Jack Hill. And Jim Hill is further up, of course, just north, on the north shore up the 5 Keys.
Okay.
Now the Turtle Tail, after first London came here in the late 60s, early 70s, late 60s I think it was, they came here. When they started development, well then, after all, their company had some name with the turtle, because when they came from Bahamas, they had the Turtle 2 in the Bahamas, and when they came up here, and then they opened up down Sellers Pond, they called it Turtle Street or Turtle Inn, and then they commenced to name other things by from their operation called Turtle. When they make that road to go out Couple Jack area and go up in the back of Jim Hill up towards south side, all the way up to the shipyard, they call that area Turtle Tail. Now, what reason they call it Turtle Tail, I don't know why. Maybe because it was a little long strip and there wasn't much land on both sides of the road, because that Salino, as you'll notice, taking the last with the Salino and Cerro Lake down to Flamingo Lake, that take up a big breadth of real estate in there. So it was just a little strip of land on the southern side of that. I guess that's why they call it Turtle Tail. Well, that's a new name. That wasn't the original name when I was small.
Okay, so you know a lot of history and about why these places were called this name. Was this something that was taught to you by your parents, or it was just happening as you were growing up as a child, being named at the same time?
Well, growing up, hearing the elder folks, my parents and other people talking about the story, the history, and that's how come I happens to know a little bit about that.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time today, and just please tell us again your name is and which community are you from?
Yeah, Wilbur Delancey.
And you're from the community of the Bight.
From the Bight, better known as Sonny. Most people don't know me as Sonny or Pope, but I'm from the Bight.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview with me today, and thank you so much again for all the information you have shared with us.
Well, if you do need any more information about the island, I'll be happy to share it with you. Because there are lots of stories, questions, which do need answers. And which people doesn't know. So we have what you call a hidden treasure here in this island. So, but it just needs to be blended out.
All right, thank you so much.
But you're welcome anytime.